India has to be responsible in its behavior, in how it shelters Sheikh Hasina while she is there.
What is causing the delay, and when is he going to return?
There is no delay. PNP's foreign policy under the leadership of Tarique Rahman will be based on the principles of national interest, flexibility, multifaceted, and would not be country-specific. China is an important development partner of Bangladesh.
Welcome to Centrist Nation. I'm Sabah Saktir Arshi. Today we're joined by Tarique Rahman's foreign policy advisor, Humayun Kabir, to discuss Bangladesh's evolving diplomatic landscape. Hello, sir. Pleasure to have you with us.
Good afternoon, Sabah.
Good afternoon.
Thank you.
As a foreign policy advisor, could you tell us 3 things about the BNP's foreign policy that will make us excited for a fresh new start?
PNP's foreign policy under the leadership of Tarique Rahman will be based on the principles of national interest, flexibility, multifaceted, and would not be country-specific.
So, coming to the second question, how will the relationship with India be under BNP in comparison to Hasina's, for example?
Just leading on from my response to your first question, the fundamental distinction would be that it will be based on national interest, in preserving the national interest of the people of Bangladesh, which is distinctly different from what we saw in the last 15 years of an autocratic regime led by Sheikh Hasina, which was solely focused on a country-specific policy of serving India. And that was the overwhelming perception of the people. We will have our challenges because we have the principal devil, Sheikh Hasina, sitting in Indian sovereign boundaries, attempting to destabilize the country. So India has to be responsible in its behavior, in how it shelters Sheikh Hasina while she is there. And in terms of India's conduct and behavior will determine sort of future relations with the next potential elected government. Cooperation will be based on mutual respect rather than just one-sided. There are elements or areas that we can cooperate on. We don't choose our neighbors. We don't choose them. They don't choose us. But we got to live in the region, in the neighborhood together. So there will be issues, cross-cutting issues, time to time. A working relationship of cooperation would very much be there. But the people of Bangladesh will always negotiate from a position of strength, given that you have the principal mass killer in Bangladesh's recent political history located over in India.
Coming to the question about the much anticipated return of Tarique Rahman, what is causing the delay and when is he going to return?
There is no delay. That's speculation. That's someone else's speculation. Tarique Rahman, when he will be coming back, both himself and the party will be taking that decision and they will share that with the nation. He has been leading the country in mobilizing international opinion against Sheikh Hasina, both domestically and internationally for the last 15 years. And the whole purpose and objective of all this is to return to the country. So there's no speculation on that. He will come back and lead the Bangladesh Nationalist Party in the next elections.
Let's talk about a current pressing issue about the US-Bangladesh relationship, about the tariff negotiation. Are you satisfied with it? What do you think about it?
I think under the circumstances, they've done a reasonably good job, where perhaps a little earlier, if they involved the private sector from an early period in the negotiations, maybe the outcome would not have been so challenging, could have been a bit more smoother, but nevertheless, from a national interest point of view, and given the current circumstances, the deal itself is acceptable given the challenges. To an extent, I think they've done a reasonably good job.
The next question is about BNP's stance on China's Belt and Road Initiative. How will that affect the economic partnership or economic situation of the country?
China is an important development partner of Bangladesh since very early on. So we will continue to, have that bilateral relationship. friendship with the People's Republic of China from a development perspective. In terms of partnerships, that again, as I shared with you in my earlier response, that our policy is not to project a country-specific policy. So we will work with a range of bilateral partners that are important for the purpose of the country's development. And China will be an important development partner, and the economic partnerships that we have with them would be based on mutual respect, mutual gains, and the economic prosperity first and foremost of the people of Bangladesh at the fore of our relationship with China.
So how would BNP balance the relationship between the different superpowers, US, China, and India?
And that's why we will adopt a flexible foreign policy where we can project our policy based on the principles that serve our national interest in a flexible way. And the bilateral relationships won't have any particular clauses that we don't, where we won't deal with a certain country, etc. So the partnerships that we develop will be exclusively on areas with that specific country. In terms of third-party involvement in our partnerships will not be accommodated where it may possibly hinder any development.
Coming to the Rohingya refugee crisis, what is your view on that, and how would BNP improve the relationship with Myanmar? What's the way ahead?
This has been an ongoing problem where the last Sheikh Hasina autocratic regime has failed to engage the international community at large, particularly the key stakeholders, the UN, the European Union, the US, as well as regional partners in resolving the crisis. So it needs to, because Sheikh Hasina herself never carried the mandate of the people. So her position of strength in bargaining against regional stakeholders was always weak. So she was never able to take up the position of protecting Bangladesh's national security interests. Otherwise, she would have made a move very early on in that to prevent the pushover from Myanmar. Nevertheless, we are where we are. So the BNP would definitely, in terms of seek more multilateral engagement in resolving the process and negotiate, given that we intend to have the mandate of the people of Bangladesh behind us, we would be able to negotiate from a position of strength in trying to influence a positive outcome that protects our national interest and security in regard to this matter, as well as safeguarding at the same time the return of the Rohingya refugees.
Coming to the question about the Middle Eastern countries, how would BNP make trade relationships with the Middle East, considering there is a large Bangladeshi diaspora there?
The Middle East will be a very important partner in our foreign economic relations, particularly countries like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar. That's where many of our people work within those labor markets. So ensuring their well-being is looked after, they're going to the right jobs, the right training is provided. We need more collaborative working. And also Bangladesh as a government will strengthen our bilateral relationships more. Often there's a perception that from the past that leaders mainly go out for pilgrimage, either for Hajj or Umrah, and that tends to facilitate our sort of relations with Saudi Arabia, etc. But besides, just limiting our relations to making pilgrimage trips, more bilateral sort of visits both ways, incoming visits from Middle Eastern leaders, our leaders going out to the region more, building those strong bilateral ties, inviting more investment into Bangladesh, across various sectors. There's Middle Eastern countries have also expressed interest in many sectors across Bangladesh where they wish to invest when there is democratic transition and when an elected government is in place.
And the final question, what role would Bangladesh play in regional organizations like SAARC and BIMSTEC?
These are both platforms are two prisms that BNP can project its foreign and economic and security relations throughout the region and build cooperation. Shaheed President Ziaur Rahman was the initiator of SAARC, and we believe regional cooperation, giving leadership at a regional level, taking everybody into confidence and having a platform where countries can come together is always a better way for exchanging dialogue and diffusing also any tensions and sharing, prosperity. The SAARC, and similarly with BIMSTEC, where sort of you have, South Asian countries with an extension of also Southeast Asian countries coming in. It's a greater opportunity also to lead and influence that economic development throughout that corridor.
All right. So thank you, sir, for answering all our questions and sharing your views. Thank you.
Thank you.